Hello, everyone. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and this is Navigational Astrology. Welcome to 2022's Sagittarius New Moon. This is the moon of open roads. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to spend this time with you to talk about this really gorgeous new moon. We have just closed out Scorpio season, eclipse season, and the fresh air of Sagittarius is only as sweet as deep the depths that we dove into during Scorpio season. Each sign builds on the experience of the sign before it. We are in this dark time of the year between Samhain and the winter solstice, and really between Samhain and Imbolc, depending on your tradition or if you follow the wheel of the year at all. But we are in these dark days and nights, long nights, short days. And this is really a time of emptiness. There's this sort of, if we think of Samhain as the release of the body or a death of sorts, if we impose the journey of the soul over the cycles of the year, the wheel of the year, Samhain represents a death, a letting go. And then it isn't until the winter solstice that the new seeds are planting. That's the new moon of the year. And so this in-between stage of almost nothingness can be very challenging because we like to fill empty spaces. We like to fill the spaces with thought and things and doing. And we are very uncomfortable generally in this sort of liminal womb-like nothingness. And the fact that Sagittarius season happens during this time is, in my opinion, it's a love note. It's a kiss from the great mystery. It's a unfathomable blessing. It's an injection of hope. Now, this new moon is so very special. But before we talk about it, I want to just talk a little bit about the Sagittarius cycle we are closing. Last year's new moon in Sagittarius was an eclipse. It was a new moon solar eclipse on December 4th. I'm going to show you the chart so you can follow me here. So this is the Sagittarius new moon from last year. Each new moon carries that sign's lessons for us for a full year until the next new moon in that sign. So last year's new moon was a solar eclipse, and it was at 12 degrees of Sagittarius conjunct Mercury, and this is all conjunct the great attractor. Now, notice the south node at this last year's new moon in Sagittarius is where this year's new moon in Sagittarius is, at 1 degree and some change of Sagittarius. This is such a clear message, with this being the south node. This cycle we are beginning of Sagittarius right now is built on whatever we have released, let go of. Listen, whenever we come out of Scorpio season, most of the time we have encountered some gnarly aspects of ourselves. Maybe we've been humbled by something that happened, a realization, something that a place that we needed to grow, release, integrate. The degree with which we have done that is the degree with which this new cycle will bestow these blessings. Just straight up. And with this being last year being aligned with the great attractor, think about the past 12 months. It's been weird, right? I mean, it's been weird. But the things that we have encountered have been fated, have been magnetically drawn to us, so we could have this time right now with which to fly. So let's look at this new moon. Okay, this is this year's new moon in Sagittarius, occurring November 23rd, 2022 at 5:57 p.m. This is Eastern Standard Time. So here we have our sun moon conjunction, our new moon at 1 degree and 38 minutes of Sagittarius. Now, the south node in last year's new moon was 1 degree and 44 minutes. This is very, very close. This is so cool. This is such a clear indication that we will reap rewards from the work that we have done. And when I say work, when I talk about things like growing and healing and encountering uncomfortable aspects of ourselves, I am not talking about shaming those things, rejecting them. What I'm actually talking about is inviting them in, because every single thing that we do, even the things that would be labeled as, not healthy, toxic, negative in other ways, there is a wisdom, a hidden wisdom behind it. And when we invite these parts of ourselves to the table and ask them their needs, get to know them, that's when we find that inner wisdom, and it sort of neutralizes the power of that negative thing. So this is not about bypassing. This is about integrating and looking at things clearly with honesty. Now, the South Node in Sagittarius for last year, that's about letting go of places that we are ignorantly certain. Kind of like things that we are so sure about that we refuse to see the whole picture. That's kind of the shadow side of Sagittarius, where there's this overconfidence. And, if you observe people who have a lot of Sagittarius energy, if they are sort of kind of dialed into that part of it, they can be incredible jerks. They can say the most ridiculously jerky things and feel fantastic saying them. Feel totally right, totally righteous. There's very little room in that type of energy for allowing other people's experiences, when truly that is what Sagittarius is all about, allowing other people's experiences to come into our consciousness so that we then become more wise. Now, this first decan of Sagittarius is associated with the Eight of Wands in tarot. And this card, the Eight of Wands, is a card of rapid movement, big change, a lot of communication. And some people call these wands the arrows or a Cupid's arrows. Now, that's really interesting because we have this beautiful Mercury-Venus conjunction. Now, they have been conjunct for a few degrees, kind of closely dancing with each other since around the 20th. And with all of this happening together, this next year has absolute, it's like a treasure trove. 6 months from now, when we have our Sagittarius full moon, there will be a peak of this. There will be a harvest of these loving contracts, these financial agreements, these love commitments, these agreements that we're making that feel different. It feels different when we let go of that sort of refusal to see ourselves. We invite all those parts of us to the table and listen to what they have to say. It just feels good to do that. It's so much lighter. And, Scorpio season, this past Scorpio season was heavy duty. Even if nothing like specific happened in your life, no doubt you felt this just kind of Scorpio, the heaviness, and it serves a purpose. That phoenix of Scorpio can rise through the ashes to the degree with which we have allowed Scorpio's depth to penetrate within us. And this is that time. Okay, we do still have the South Node in Scorpio, North Node in Taurus. So we are still being asked to be present in our bodies, to not fly off into the cosmos, to be here now, to let what is old, meaning ancestral wisdom, earth-based wisdom, to become new, and for that to be our revolutionary path forward collectively. Vesta has now entered Pisces, so there is an inner light that is being stoked, and our devotion is to be toward spiritual matters. Now, there's another way that this is being spoken about in the chart for this. If we look over here, this new moon is in a 16th harmonic with Neptune. A 16th harmonic speaks about our inner motivations, what's really driving us. And so this open road ahead of us, if we are motivated by spiritual causes, by unconditional love, by, it's okay if things aren't so precise and known, if we are allowing the blanket of mysticism, of spirituality to be our comfort on our journey, supported by loving agreements with Venus and Mercury. This new moon is also trining Sagittarius's ruler, Jupiter. So it's like another like friend holding your hand. Jupiter's domain is one of gifts. In just a few hours after this new moon, Jupiter will be turning direct and will be heading back into Aries. So as he's in these last moments of Pisces, this is us getting back in touch with our dreams, where kind of maybe we lost some along the way. This is a dip back into the cool waters of, oh, right, this is actually what I want. And we're going to take that remembrance of our dream forward as Jupiter goes into Aries, and we really get these wheels turning on this journey. Things are going to start moving fast if you are tapped into this energy. And if you're watching this video, I'm thinking you're probably pretty tapped into this. You're probably really feeling this. If we look at the rest of these aspects, they're all so gorgeous. We have these noviles with Mars and with the North Node. Noviles speak of a completion and a next level. So with Mars, this new moon is asking us, it's delivering a new way to be motivated. And that new way is spiritually. It just is because of all these other aspects. A nova aspect with the North Node, humanity as a whole is going to take a new step into something new. Now, if you watch the news, if you're looking at the world out there, it looks like it's not going very well. It looks like the world is on fire. And there's a part of that we can't look away from. We can't turn away from that, but we also, what we see is the result of the past. And we're not going there anymore. Where we're going, we can't quite see yet. But we can feel it, and we're being guided by these spiritual requests from the Great Mystery. Now, in my past videos, I've been including a lot of nature shots, and you guys have been sending me the most beautiful messages, loving all of these. The place I wanted to go for this new moon, it's just to be straight with you, it's really cold. It's so cold. I would probably just be an icicle standing there. But I do have a photograph of this place. Now, as you look at this photograph, this whole thing is outrageously Sagittarian. If you look, focus on the horizon. That's where we're going. And there's all these mountains and ridges, and you could think of them as obstacles in the way, or you could think of them as lessons or places of growth or decision points. And we can see that they're all there, but that's not our focus. Sagittarius asks us to focus on the goal, the target, that horizon ahead. And by doing that, not in a way that is, like I was talking about, the sort of shadow side of Sagittarius, where we're overly confident. We don't think anything is, nothing could stop us. There's a power to that belief, but overconfidence can get us into trouble. So there's a harmony here between faith and realism. Where is our faith? It's on that horizon ahead. We know there's going to be bumps along the way, and we'll take it as it comes. We're not going to worry now about obstacles that may or may not be a big deal when they arrive. Now, to bring this chart back up, a couple things I want to mention. This new moon is opposing the Pleiades, Alcyone. So this is an awareness of Taurian energies. The Pleiades asks us to be here now. It reminds us of the magic of being physical, the magic of this realm we live in. We spend so much time lamenting being physical and the limitations and the amnesia and all of that. But there's an alchemical magic in being here now, in this body, as a human being, in this stage of humanity's evolution. And Alcyone / the Pleiades reminds us of that. The other thing I want to mention, asteroid Alu, ALU. The asteroid number for Alu is 4104. So here you can see the asteroid Alu. Now, this asteroid is rather fast moving. So the fact that it is conjunct fixed star Polaris Australis, who is our South Pole star, is pretty significant. First of all, Polaris Australis is One of my absolute favorite fixed stars because it represents a connection to the outer cosmos, a fixed point with which all of creation circles around from our perspective. It also serves as a gateway to psychic information. This asteroid, Alu, is a runic sequence from Iron Age Scandinavia. Now, the word means ale, but it also means magic. It also makes things magical when you add, or when this is in their belief system, when they added Alu to a sequence, it then made it magical or signified that it was magical in some way. So how does that relate to ale, magic, ale? Well, think about fermentation. We add the ingredients, individual ingredients, and then it starts to get really gross. It starts to look like things are going wrong as things are fermenting, right? And if we didn't know better, we would be like, oh, we need to stop this. We need to dump it out because it's not working. But if we allow that magical alchemical process of fermentation to occur, the result is a substance. We could think of it as a magical substance. It is definitely different. It has been transformed. And it is then something that can alter human consciousness if we're being real. I mean, I'm not suggesting that, we get drunk in order to, change our consciousness, but this metaphor of fermentation as a magical process, we are going through that now, individually, collectively. We're in that growth phase where we're like, oh my God, it's going wrong. It's not going right. And so we have the request, the Sagittarian request of trust, of faith, of leaning into our spirituality. There's almost like an overlay of that for the collective. And then individually, I think things are going to start to move really fast for us and change in ways that we've been really asking for. As I close, I want to read to you the Chandra symbol for this new moon. So this is the Chandra symbol, the inside degree, created by brilliant mystic Elias Lonsdale in the book Inside Degrees. Sagittarius 2. Many iris blooming in a wide variety of colors, a vast multiplicity of vantage points, ways of being, complete identities, fabulously suggestible and impressionable, fanning out in all directions, becoming one with everything, desiring and needing to bring forth each self you have ever been, every fancy you are filled with. You are impetuous, outrageous, and irrepressible. Freedom at all costs. The moment prevails. Ferment and flux. Oh my gosh, it says ferment. I haven't read this until just now. Ferment and flux. This work is so magical. I cannot even stand it. A great difficulty in holding steady, perpetual adolescent rebellion, and the magnificent ability to become absolutely anything. Experience is all. Your deepest need is to embrace your astounding nature and let it be free, despite all signs to the contrary. Well, I think that's particularly gorgeous. I think it's right in alignment with what we've been talking about here. And let me just sort of plug my private community, the Deep Divers community. Come and join us. It's really awesome. Tonight, we're having story time. I will be reading a folk tale from Norway, and that's just kind of a fun, relaxing thing that we do. We do a lot of deep work, magical work, mystical work, and it's a lovely community full of actual geniuses. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Big, big love to you. I hope that you feel this lift. I hope that you are the phoenix that rises from the ashes and that you surprise and delight yourself at every turn. I want to leave you with this Irish prayer. Deep peace to you. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. See you soon.